I had Tourette's growing up, and I worked everything out what it all was. So the low sounding swear words that I used to say was when I was frustrated. So it was a low frequency, like that's a measurable low frequency. So it would release negative tension and stress. And when I was excited, it would be high sounds like really high pitched sounds. So on a energy frequency scale, low sounds are negative, high sounds are positive. And that's why meditation is so important, because you need to ground. Like, most people don't know what it's like to have so much energy and feeling high all the time on life, but that's why it's so important to meditate, because you basically go back to sort of nothing.
I recognize I was celebrating myself when I didn't allow myself sugar or chocolate, right? So what I was actually really celebrating was control. Was control. And you know, the thing is, like, energetically, that's more damaging than having the thing. Because if we're in an energy of control, we're constricting our energy flow. We're constricting the energy flow to receive. And so we don't want to be in any kind of energy of control around something.
I was against drugs because you put fear into me all my life when I was a kid. Drugs are bad. No one talks about the benefits of these drugs, what they can do. It's just, somebody had an overdose on TV, on the news, don't take drugs. It's like, well, what was that? What was in it? How many did he take? Was he an alcohol? Like, there's so many factors. Then don't pick a mushroom from a field and eat it, right? So that goes back to other people exerting control over us and almost feeling like they are obliged to protect us, and they're not. And if people went into their own body, they would give a shit what everyone else is doing, because they'd be too busy being in their own body. So last night it was my friend's birthday, and I took a mushroom gummy. And what happened was that we were having such a funny time. And I took him back to the time when I was at medicine, and I took mushrooms, doing a dance, and the whole evening was just like I ascended to this high vibration that my body couldn't cope with it. So, for example, twin flames are essentially a body that is half of another energy, so it has to go into two bodies, because that one body just simply can't handle the energy. And so the twin flame comes back into your life, you balance each other out, take the energies that you need to balance each other, and then you go off. And that's how I felt at medicine at some points during the evening, where I was on such a high and it was just too much for my body. Imagine feeling so good that you're like, I don't know what to do, I just feel so good. And last night I had a glimpse of that, where I had this amazing amount of energy. And I said to him, I can't believe that we've never done this before. And he didn't know really how to deal with the energy, because he's not done the mushrooms before. And to cut a long story short, I think that we should use things like mushrooms to essentially show our bodies what we can actually feel. Because now I can reflect back to that moment and feel exactly how I felt, by remembering how I felt. Yes, when I was there, I was present in that energy and that feeling. But just like when you recall a Christmas with a family where it was so good and you smile, it's the same thing. I can now create that feeling now from a situation that happened in the past. So that's like an amazing gift that something like mushrooms can do. It can make you feel a certain way after the fact, based on how you felt in the past.
Yeah, I agree. I love this conversation. There's a few things popping for me around this, because I had an interesting experience with my mentor actually very recently, and basically we were on a Zoom call together, and I was in a state of being meditation, right? And he was speaking some words to me, and then there was a lot of stillness, there was a lot of silence, and I felt like my energy like exploded so much. It was like I felt like I was on a merry-go-round, like a children's playground, and being spun so fast. I thought I was actually going to fall off my chair. Like it was so much that it's almost like my physical body was catching up with me. And I was actually writing a post about this the other day when I first went through like my first awakening, and how it was almost like my physical body couldn't actually hold all the energy. So I really get this. Yeah, it's crazy.
So I had Tourette's growing up, and I worked everything out what it all was. So the low sounding swear words I used to say was when I was frustrated. So it was a low frequency, like that's a measurable low frequency. So it would release negative tension and stress. And when I was excited, it would be high sounds like really high pitched sounds. So on a energy frequency scale, low sounds are negative, high sounds are positive. When you're excited, it's high sounds. When you're stressed, it's low sounds. So when you look at it like that, I used to growing up, I must have had so much charge and energy in me from life itself that I didn't know what to do with it. And it came out in the form of sounds, right? And twitching and stuff. And that's why meditation is so important, because you need to ground. Like most people don't know what it's like to have so much energy and feeling high all the time on life. But that's why it's so important to meditate, because you basically go back to sort of nothing. But then the next day you wake up and do it all again. Like last night, we literally went to bed at 2, cracking jokes, barely laughing, like, Christ, I can't, what is happening? Like, amazing. I wake up and I just do it all over again. And because I don't drink, I've got the same amount of energy. And he comes out of his bed like, oh, fuck, I need a coffee. And I'm cracking jokes again. He's like, can you please just stop for 5 minutes, for fuck's sake? Like, do you ever switch off? I'm like, nope. I just recharge and start again. But that's why meditation is very important for me and my Tourette's, because if I don't meditate, Tourette's comes back. What does that mean? It means if I didn't ground my energy, the energy has to go somewhere, and it comes out in the form of sounds, which is a sound vibration leaving the body. So it all makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, I think when it's, it's like, yeah, that's how it expresses for you, right? And will come out in a way that you're not desiring, right? But you've understood and learned how to ground yourself. And I think the other thing that I have started writing about recently was around how when you have all this energy in your body, what you can often reach for is self-pleasuring, right? Because it's like, I need the energy to go somewhere, right? Because actually, yeah, you feel turned on from the inside out. And I know when I first, going back to that first story that I just shared, there was so much energy in my system. Like it felt like I had my finger in an electric socket, like permanently. And I was turned on 24/7. And it was like, like there was a lot of self-pleasuring going on, because I didn't know how to fully embody it and really ground myself into it. So it was like, oh my gosh, like, we've been taught, if you feel turned on and aroused, oh, right, well, like do something with that. Doesn't mean that has to be with a partner, by the way. Right. And so, yeah, it's an interesting thing. And when you learn to really play with that energy, because it's creation. It's how we create, right? And it's how we, bounce through life. Like you don't, you wake up like this. I love it.
But yeah, that's what Tantra is. It's learning essentially to sit in that energy rather than ejaculate and release the energy. Because when it's gone, it's gone. It's just how you master that energy when you're feeling it. What do you do with it? Do you ground it? Do you put it into creative energy? Do you just go mad like an ape? And do you go on a massive long run? It's like we've got a choice what we do with the energy. But naturally, because we are created from like sexual energy, we go first to sexual pleasure, essentially to release that energy. I find that I have to do that often just to calm my energy because it's just too much. And then I learned about the Tantra, which is don't need to waste it. Absorb it, channel it, bring it up your body, breathe it out, whatever. I haven't quite mastered it yet, but that is the next stage where you just learn to sit with the energy, but not let it take over your body where it's like, I have to do something with it. It's just, no, just learn to live with it. Almost like learning to live with noisy neighbors. It's just, they're noisy neighbors and I'm doing my thing. I am present. I've got all this energy. I need to do something with it. No, I don't need to do anything with it. Just do nothing. Just be aware of it and do nothing. You just got to learn to live with it. But yeah, we always think it's about release. Got to go somewhere. It's got to do something. And it's no, it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's allowing yourself to be comfortable in it. And yeah, once you get past that kind of, you know, like your mind goes, oh, I feel turned on. Oh, maybe I'll go and get my vibrator out, right? It's like, actually, allow yourself to be in this, right? And yeah, I've done a lot of tantra and bring a lot of that into my teaching and coaching. And yeah, when you learn to just really like play with that energy, I mean, it's like special. It's why people feel that like magnetism about certain people, right? Because they have learned how to really master this and integrate it.
Yes. See, for me, I don't know at this moment if I will be able to just not do anything with the energy, because it's like, it's so strong. And I'm sure you'll say, actually, there's always a way to manage it. But I've always just gone to the release. And I know that you don't have to go to the release, but it's like anything. When you want to quit smoking, you sort of set the intention, and then a few weeks later, oh, shouldn't be having one. And then eventually you might end up quitting smoking. It's just, energy is so strong. It's like, I just need to sort it out now. Just need to solution now. Right. But yeah, that's all I have to say on that.
Well, yeah, I think, you know, we live in that world, don't we? It's like, you know, we can live in that world. And I think I'd be curious as to what would happen if you actually allowed yourself to just stay in it, right? Stay in it. That might be something as homework for you. But yeah, I mean, it's not saying that, you know, that it's wrong to go and have an orgasm, right? I'm not saying that. It's like there's a space for all of it, but it's just being very conscious. And I have also noticed, and I've seen this about myself, right? But I see this with clients too. It's like they'll use it to distract from growth. It's like can be a distraction because it's suddenly like, oh, okay, this feels uncomfortable. There might be something here, right? There might be something here. And so people can use it as a distraction, like, you know, eating, you know, we will emotionally eat because it's uncomfortable, something's coming up and it's uncomfortable to look at. Let's grab some food. There's all sorts of ways.
Yeah, what's horrific on that topic is my sister and her partner went to America, and if you look at the same ingredients in a bag of Pringles or a bag of Skittles or M&Ms compared to England, they're completely different ingredients. It's like American food is designed purposely to poison you more, so you get fatter, so you get lazy, so you binge eat more, so you feel shit, so you go out and buy more shitty food. It's literally created so more disease happens in your body, which is absolutely insane. So it's like, are we going to able to take control of our bodies and minds again, or have we created something like a man-made substance that just has a mind of its own, like AI? You know, have we put these chemicals in our body that our bodies literally become so used to using that as fuel that we're not going to be able to get out of it, almost like a parasite going in and sort of just making its way around, eating your brain? It's like, is that too late? Can you get the parasite out and continue a normal life? Can you get these chemicals out your body where you can live a normal life when AI takes over? Can you control it again? Like, have we come too far as humans that we're like doomed?
Yeah, there's an interesting conversation because I think essentially it's all about what is the truth that someone is holding on to energetically around, you know, a certain food or whatever it is. And funnily enough, I learned something about myself. I don't know when it was now, but around how I recognized I was celebrating myself when I didn't allow myself sugar or chocolate, right? So what I was actually really celebrating was control. It was control. And, the thing is, like energetically, that's more damaging than having the thing. Because if we're in an energy of control, we're constricting our energy flow. We're constricting the energy flow to receive. And so we don't want to be in any kind of energy of control around something. So it was really enlightening to see that about myself. It's like, oh yeah, I'm celebrating controlling myself, not allowing myself to have the chocolate. And do you know what? I realized that all of it was tied up in, beliefs that I'd chosen to adopt around the meaning behind chocolate. So as soon as I let go of that, it's like, yeah, I allow myself to have chocolate whenever I want, right? Whenever I'm desiring it, I have it. And that feels really freeing. And I don't buy into the beliefs around that, the normal beliefs, right? So has that changed the way I look and my figure? No, of course it hasn't, because I don't have any emotional attachment around it.
So you're saying you'd celebrate the fact that you had enough willpower to reject chocolate, so essentially create a positive from a negative, for example, but instead you'd give yourself the chocolate, and then your brain essentially wouldn't think about chocolate, and therefore that whole thing wouldn't exist.
Exactly.
So that's why, so that's why I believe is the cure for addiction. So I had a crisp addiction. I've also had like many obsessions with it. It's like I get obsessions with things like porn, crisps, chocolate, whatever I'm doing, like planting seeds in the garden, and then I just stop, right? Going to ice baths every day religiously, and then I stop. And I work this out. I can't be told no. So if I think about a pack of crisps, I can't be told no, because now I think about crisps more. So I realized that my parents say, no, don't eat any crisps, I have to do it. But how I got over my crisp addiction was every time I thought about crisps, I would give myself the crisps, to the point where I'd feel sick from eating the crisps. So now rather than thinking about crisps, I'd now think about crisps. Oh, I felt shit last time. So now I've essentially shat on the nice idea of having some Doritos with, oh, I felt so shit last time. All right. So now I've changed my mindset and said that the next day, crisps, I eat. Crisps, I eat. Crisps, I eat. Eventually, when your mind knows you're going to get something, it's not scarce. So we want things in life that are scarce. And then when it's not scarce, nobody wants it, right? So if I'm giving myself crisps, my brain's like, oh, there's no threat here. No one's telling you what to do. You can eat them whenever you want. So I'm not going to bother thinking about it. Whereas if you tell yourself no, instantly you want to do it more. So I think that's the same as smoking, porn, whatever it is. Go through the emotion of when you think about porn, think about smoking, think about crisps, chocolate, give your body it. And then your nervous system should relax, where it's not so like fight or flight, like who's going to take it away from me? And you just literally 2 days will pass and you're like, I've not had a fag in 2 days. I've not had chocolate in 2 days. Versus chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. No, I'm not having chocolate. No, I'm not having chocolate. It will keep coming back until you give yourself chocolate, like a wasp will keep coming back until you feed it, give it the bit of food, and it'll piss off.
Yeah. Well, wanting, trying, hoping, wishing creates the experience of exactly that, right? Because everything's energy and we attract based on the energy we're in. So yeah, if we're wanting chocolate, we will create the experience of wanting chocolate, which is like, I'm raged, like I really want some chocolate now, so that is never the way to create and manifest, is by using that language. And someone said to me the other day something about, oh, I hope, what are you hoping for this week? And I was like, well, first I would just remove the word hoping, because immediately it's like not actually putting your energy behind it and believing you're going to create that. And language has so much power, right? But all language is made up. Every single word is made up, right? And it's all to do with the energy that we have behind it, essentially.
Yeah, so spelling words, casting a spell, right? Which means, people who cast a spell create reality, they control the quantum world. So when you talk, you're changing the quantum world. But rather than seeing it as my words are changing the quantum world, see it as the sound frequencies of what I'm saying is having an impact of my energetic environment. So I know somebody who passed away, and they set a spell on somebody who had a car crash the same day that they died. So it was a family member who hated the family member. When they died, they set a spell and they had a car crash the same day, and they both would almost died. The power of the energy is absolutely crazy. Like, if you could see when you project like an energy onto like an atom or whatever, and how it just splits, and then you could speak towards something or someone or a leaf or a human or a device, and see how it also changes the energy. And you realize that you can talk about someone in Australia and it's the same thing. There's no space or time. You think, fuck, words are powerful, which means if I'm in somebody's environment and they're being negative or they're shitty towards me, it's changing my cells on a quantum level. And that's why it's so important to always surround yourself with the vibration that you want to be, which is ultimately a positive, strong vibration.
Yeah, I agree. Most people do not realize how powerful we are, they are, and we are the power, essentially. And one thing I was going to say about what you were sharing, oh yeah, that was it. Worrying is the least caring thing we can ever do for someone, because worrying is essentially like projecting negative energy onto that person. So it's a little bit like what you've just said about the spell that person put on their family member, right? Literally, words are spells. And there's a great book called Your Word is Your Wand, right? And it is, right? We can create magic with our words. And I had a conversation with a family member recently who was saying, oh, but I'm really worried about you. And I said, please, can you actually take that away? Because that is actually, you're cursing me and you're projecting negative energy on me by worrying, because I'm not worried about myself. So there's no need for you to worry about that. And I said, the more, and it's, I'm just like, worrying, there's like this kind of like bullshit kind of myth, I suppose, that has been taught, which is, to care about, when you worry about someone, you're caring about someone. But actually, it's complete opposite. It's the least caring thing you can ever do.
Yeah. So when I was growing up, my mum always used to be a warrior, and because we were so connected, I used to feel her nervous energy, feel sick when she felt sick. Every nervous fear she had, I would feel it as if it was mine. It would be just unbearable. And so whenever I used to go out clubbing and I didn't text her back at one, she'll think I've been stabbed, right? And I could feel her thinking that. So I'd have to like literally just stop everything just to text her back saying I'm fine. So she would worry. And I had to explain that you're projecting your fears onto me and I'm feeling it and it's changing my life. It's like, I remember I used to go to the casino to do like systems and try and beat the system. When I was in my flow of I'm going to come back with exactly 233 and I'm going to put a pound on zero for 4 hours until I make that, every time I come back and win. When I told my mom I was going out, and she'd be like, no, you can't go out, you're going to lose. Like you're going to lose. It's like worrying. You shouldn't be doing that. I'd go there. My energy's all fucked because now she's observing my energy, collapsing my energy. I'd lose every single time. And actually, since I started telling her, I never used to go again. But before that, I used to go all the time and I'd win every time. And the minute I told her, the minute she focused on it, started to worry about it, I couldn't win again. It was like night and day, black and white. So it's like, don't worry about me. That's nothing to do with you. Like, live your life.
Yeah.
And the fact that what I'm doing is impacting your life today, when you could be in the garden planting flowers and what I'm doing in China on my travels is affecting you, well, why would you? It's not your life. Like, live your life. Don't let my life affect you, for fuck's sake. Like, you're gonna die soon. Like, live your life. But it's that awareness, isn't it, of all of this? Because naturally you're just entangled anyway, but you have to untangle.
Yes, untangle, reclaim your energy, 100%. And yeah, it's such a common thing, right? It's such a common thing. I hear it all the time. People talking about the worrying. It's like, what is the point? Because it's actually fearing something that's not even true. So the biggest waste of energy ever. And yeah, like you say, creating it, right? Look at how that used to mess with you. Yeah, it's just such a waste of energy. Such a waste of energy. And yeah, the more we can be conscious about our energy, then we really learn how to create, and it's really in that present moment.
And also, what is very interesting, if you think that everything is already pre-written in terms of energy frequencies balancing each other up, right? Essentially, if you've got, say, call it a bloodsucker connected to you that's worrying about you, and now you're feeling their nervous energy, well, to detangle, you have to have a conversation and essentially say, look, I know you don't like what I'm doing, but this is my life, and you have to live your life. We're two different people, and you may not like what I'm doing, and that's okay. But you have to live your life and let me live mine. And the minute they become aware, they cut the energetic cord, you feel energetically free, and they feel energetically free. But that conversation that you had to have is essentially, I call, balancing out the karma. Because, for example, if you don't have the ability to set boundaries with partners, children, parents, friends, or colleagues, by having that specific chat should create a new skill for you to have these similar chats with other people, which means you've evolved. Because now you won't be in these situations where people will feel like they have some influence on you or have some control over you or feel that they are part of your life when they're not. So if you think about all these people come into your life for you to have that conversation, to detach from them, that's evolution, that's growth, which means everyone that we are attached to is all part of the energetic process of becoming whole and detaching from all these other energies that make us whole during school, our 15 friends, our 25 friends at uni, our big families. We're supposed to detach to become whole. Yeah.
I agree. We have everything we need within us. And I think it's about taking radical responsibility. And I've seen this with myself and also with my clients. It's like when they notice that someone is draining them, and I'm like, right, okay, well, what is the conversation you need to have here? Because it's about choosing to care about yourself more than others. But when it's the other way around, then yeah, we will allow people to just drain our energy, right? We'll put up with it, even when we're not enjoying it. It's like this dysfunctional kind of sadistic kink, right? Because there's a part of us that likes it, right? Because actually, yes, it's uncomfortable. But you're right, we evolve, we expand, and we grow when we have the conversation. It's not meant to be comfortable because growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone, in safety.
Yeah, like when you go to the gym, you're going through pain for the high pump at the end. And I'm like, okay, that's good. But how about don't go to the gym and just feel great all the time? Like, I feel achy for the next couple of days. When I don't go to the gym, I can run around and I'm free as a bird. So it's like, okay, I got a good body. Okay, I can lift more shopping, but how do I feel every day? And do I want to feel tired and stiff every day forever just for the sake of having a good body that as soon as I stop lifting weights and as soon as I stop eating good food, I'm going to lose it anyway? And I've got fucked up joints from lifting weights. So what is the actual point? And the point is just to find the energy that makes you feel whole, whatever that is. And removing people around you who don't make you feel good is part of that energetic process of becoming whole. And essentially, if you haven't got the confidence to speak to somebody who is attached to you in some way, that is also part of the evolution process. Your energy isn't strong enough in this lifetime to do that. So next time you'll try again. Maybe in this time you are supposed to collect all this karma and collect all these debts from people that you should have had these conversations with. And then you're sick of this shit when you die. And next time I come back, I'm not going to allow this to happen again. I'm going to tell my mum to piss off, tell my friend to piss off, tell that client you should have paid. And then eventually you become whole. And then the next time you come back, you will be whole. Unless you choose to come back as a cup. Fucking human life is too much. I'm going to come back as a heart cup.
There you go. The end. The end. I love it.
The evolution is
so
complete
funny.
when you come back as a cup.
Yes, exactly.
Sat on the side, no bullshit, just there.
Purpose for a hot chocolate or a cup of tea or a coffee, whatever you want.
Yeah. When did you last do any type of mushrooms?
I haven't done any mushrooms recently, but I did do some MDMA.
Nice.
Yeah.
What did that make you feel like?
Well, I was very intentional taking it around wanting to actually expand my energy. And it was really interesting because it did bring up a lot of my bullshit to start with. And I was really conscious of that. I was like, this is really interesting. This is really interesting. And I there was a friend with me and I spoke to her and I was like, wow, it's so curious, like what is coming up? Like I've got all this, you know, I was judging myself, right? I was judging myself. And anyway, talked to her about it. That just like cleared it. And then I could just carry on and just have a great time and expand my energy. But also I attracted some really interesting people. I was in a club and yeah, it was like I magnetized these like really highly conscious people who just started talking to me about the higher consciousness. And I was like, oh, no coincidence you're talking to me about that. And they were like, I kind of felt you would get it, right? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then interestingly, I hadn't like been researching much about MDMA, but since then I've seen a couple of posts come up literally 24 hours after I'd had it about the benefits. And I'm like, yes, yes, of course. And I kind of read a little bit about it, but not much.
Yeah, so that's something me and my friend last night was saying, is that we need to do that together. He says it's the best drug ever. And I'm under the impression that it's more of like an energy party drug. But you're saying it does have awakening, rewiring, conscious benefits, such like LSD, even though I would imagine it's nothing like LSD, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've only done LSD once, and that was like when I was about 18. But MDMA, it's like I wish I could remember what it said on this post, but it was basically saying it just elevates all of the happy kind of, you know, chemicals within us. And so actually it can really help to, you know, have that kind of expansive experience. And yeah, I was really surprised when my shit was coming up, because I wouldn't have ever expected that to happen, right? But it was like, well, yeah, I guess I've stepped into this to expand myself. So of course my shit's going to come up. Of course that's going to happen because that's part of the process. But it felt really clean. It felt really clean. And a friend of mine checked in with me today going, oh, how have you been after the weekend? And I was like, do you know, like, absolutely fine. Like, so fine. I didn't have any alcohol. I think it would be very different with alcohol.
Absolutely.
I probably would then maybe feel shit today. Who knows? But yeah, I haven't felt anything. It's felt really clean. So I would do that again and be very intentional and maybe do it not in a club setting, in a different way.
Yeah. So what's coming to me is that growing up, my parents are always very anti-drug. They don't drink, they don't smoke. So that was my narrative. And as I got older, I started to experiment, and they were like, I thought you're not, I thought you're against drugs. And I'm like, well, I was against drugs because you put fear into me all my life when I was a kid that drugs are bad. No one talked about the benefits of these drugs, what they can do. It's just, somebody had an overdose on TV, on the news, don't take drugs. It's like, well, what was that? What was in it? How many did he take? Was he an alcohol? Like, there's so many factors. Then don't pick a mushroom from a field and eat it, right? So that goes back to other people exerting control over us and almost feeling like they are obliged to protect us. And they're not. And if people went into their own body, they would give a shit what everyone else is doing because they'd be too busy being in their own body.
Exactly. And it comes back to, the protection thing comes back to the whole worrying conversation, right? Because, trying to protect someone, again, it's like cursing them. And it's, you trust yourself. You trust yourself. And that's all you need. It's all you need is to trust yourself. And then experimenting and leading the way with your intuition and going where the energy flows, which I know is how you live, right? Is absolutely all you need to do because you've got that trust.
And everyone's connected to their own source. Yeah, everyone's connected.
Exactly.
So, like, trusting that what I'm doing is right for me, and I know it's not going to be right for you. I'm on a different frequency. It's like there's endless walkie-talkie channels, and I'm on a different one to you. I trust my channel. Like, I'm on it. I'm tuned in. I'm on the channel. You're not on the same channel as me, so you're never going to understand how I can just pack my bags and go to China without booking any hotel. No, it's going to be okay. Knowing I've lived like that my whole life. It's hard to explain that to people.
Oh, but that's the kind of thing I would do. It's living. It's called living. And when people are living in the 3D world, that they're very much projecting their energy outwards and looking outside of themselves. So then they allow to be fed and consume all of the stuff that is in the media and then adopt these beliefs, right? That drugs are bad or because they've seen something. I've been having fun on TikTok lives. I don't know if I told you last time I spoke to you, but it's quite a party over on TikTok. And I really like the energy. Everyone's very expressive. And one of the things, someone the other day took offense to me swearing, right? So I actually created a video off the back of his comment because he basically said, well, the people on the news don't swear. So, why are you? And I was like, well, let's have a conversation about this because I don't think I would ever put my hand up and go, yes, please, can I read the news? Because one, I haven't read the news for about 30 years or watched it because I don't want that to, I don't desire to consume that information because it would completely impact my energy, right? And when I'm passionate, I swear, right? It was so funny. I was like, go on.
I wouldn't have even bothered replying or just continue your day.
It was a really good conversation because I was like, but also I said to him, essentially all words are made up. It's just our attachment to the meaning. So it became a content point. It was a teaching point, right? And it was actually a really fun video to create because I was just laughing my head off. But it's like whatever words are just words, and it's the meaning we attach to them, essentially.
Yes, right. Anything you want to promote or plug?
Well, anyone who is on TikTok, come and join the party. I am the Wild Woman CEO. You can also find me on Instagram, and then on Facebook, I am Claire Dore. Lots of ways to work with me one-to-one, and I also have a group for women.
Okay, and if you had one day left to live, what is the one thing that you would tell the rest of the world?
follow the fucking fun.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please remember to subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, like the episode, and comment below. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's YesKingOliver. Take a look at the other videos to your side. And if you just want to listen to this podcast, you can do so on Apple and Spotify and most other platforms by going to talkwitholiver.com.